Hi, welcome to Midwest Magic Cleaning. My name is It's Been Can Opener. Or like Can't Opener. Now, while those are soaking, we're going to go back to the stove and clean it right in the face because it deserves it. Stove talk smack to me and it's getting some Mr. Clean. My suggestion would be to spin kick every one of those creepy dolls right in their creepy doll head faces. And with that much paint left over, they still have enough to paint their neighbors' dogs. They wouldn't even have to charge the neighbors for that. They'd be like, hey, we painted your dogs. You're welcome. Massive amount of wood everywhere. I said massive wood. Sounds pretty cool. Then I just rinse it down, wipe out the residue, and it's good to go. So suck it. Now, while this is going on, I need to address something real quick. I have some people who get really angry that I talk about Jason the way that I talk about him and that I call him filth. And they wonder why I dislike him so much, especially since he's my son. And it's not that I dislike him, it's just that he deserves the treatment that he gets. That being said, if you paint your living room brown, then you are a human turd. A turd of a human you are. I'm not putting up with turd walls. I'm not putting up with it. You say it makes you happy? Then you need to change what makes you happy. And if you don't follow it, you can go straight to hell. You can go to hell. I'm so sorry, my Gen X slipped. I removed so many cobwebs from this house that I'm pretty sure I could have put them on a scale and weighed them. The stoppers or whatever you call them. I think in the UK they call those sink dippery-doos. Or that their living room no longer has a herd of moose just tromping around and being moose because we were able to de-moose the living room. We'd clean them first so they would be clean, fresh moose set back out into the wild, frolicking through the forest and thanking us for cleaning them and setting them back into their own environment. Thank you for cleaning off my moose fur. Shut up, stupid moose. You're rude. DDD is how I remember it. It's dusting, then dirt, then depolish. And then if we hit that million, I will set Daniel on fire. That will be the reward for hitting 1 million subscribers and getting our gold plaque. Or if you're like me, you just slap the dirt off. You just open up your hand and you full palm slap the dirt right in its stupid face. And you're like, suck it, dirt. And the dirt starts crying and you're like, don't cry. Just don't be dirt anymore. I do use it on windows, mirrors, stovetop counters, sinks, squirrels, demons, and guys named Abernathy. Now, I do have Jason with me today. Filth. However, the guys did wear gloves, they did wear masks, they did the things they're supposed to do because they're smart and I'm not. Except Jason, he's filth. He's a filth bag of filth, and I'm tired of it. Sick of it. Now, we're just going to sweep it all again one more time, and then we're going to mop it like it stole something. Because that's what you do with thieves. You mop them. Right in their thief face. I opened the door, I looked at it, thought, yep, that definitely needs it, and then I just walked off and forgot about it forever because my brain is stupid. It looks like Jason is cleaning the top of that fridge, but actually he stole all that stuff off of there because he's a thief. And now I'm explaining to Daniel how awesome I am, and he agreed. In fact, he started crying because he was in such awe of me. Let me back up for a second and explain these windows just a little bit better. On top, he's filth. He's filth. Look at him. He's in there with his teeth in his mouth like he owns something. I went ahead and had him do all of the ceiling fans and lights because he deserves it. Those things are terrible to do. I hate them. And so Jason's going to do them just out of sheer punishment for how much of a filth he is. Now, if you want to make it feel even more important, what you could do is subscribe to the channel and then unsubscribe from every other channel you follow. That way it makes your subscribe way more valuable. Because look, I'm not just content with getting your adoration. We need to actively punish every other channel because they're not us. It's like, look, dude, you don't want to be Midwest Magic Cleaning? Then you do not deserve a subscription. And then they'll cry, and that's when you know you've done your job. You won. And winning is all that matters. Suck it, other channels. And to answer the most important question people are going to have in the video, yes, those were bright orange boxers with little fire trucks on them. But the fire trucks aren't real. That would crush me. Those are little drawings, little cartoon fire trucks on my boxers. Also, those aren't real boxers because real boxers would punch me. They're just called boxers. That's what they call the underwear. And so it just stacks and stacks until somebody like me, someone cold and heartless and dead inside like me, comes in and just throws it all away like it was nothing. Like I threw it away like I was angry at it. The problem is, like, if you ever breakdance battle me, my popping and locking is so dope, fresh, fly, and funky that I will likely send you into a deeper depression because it'll make you face your mortality in ways that you never have before. I love them right in the face, right in their stupid window face holes, and be like, "Take my love, octo window." It's all like, "Yeah, I loves it when you love my octo window." And then I do a backflip right after I say it just to let them fully understand visually that I mean business. They're like, "Well, I was going to just blow that off, but he did a backflip after saying it, so he must be like real talking." I mean, nobody says something and then does a backflip and not mean what they just said. And I think it's cool that she would have been able to spend a night just rooting through there and finding old stuff that she forgot that she even had. Old pictures, old yearbooks, katanas and nunchucks, because she did used to be a ninja, like professionally. Like if you needed to hire a ninja back in the day, you had two choices. You either hired her or you found a way to resolve the problem without a ninja. Then Jason opened up this drawer and just stole everything out of it because he's disgusting. Now I have to be careful about how much pressure I put onto it because my arms are so gigantic that I could push that sink all the way through that counter and through the floor. Because that's how I roll, son. I can't help but be as big as I am. It's just what I was given as a gift. But with great power comes great responsibility. So I have to pull back a little bit so that I don't basically choke slam this sink. And that allowed me to do what dads do, which is stand back, watch them, and try to figure out which one of them would survive if they broke out into some sort of post-apocalyptic battle. A battle for food and resources and superiority over the planet. I'd have to put my money on Drew because he's got the height and the reach if it went down to melee combat, but also he's a lot like me in that he's quiet and reserved, and I suspect that inside he's just a white-hot ball of rage. I'm assuming that he ate nothing but crumbs, just big handfuls of crumbs. Like he would go to the store and buy a box of crumbs, and that's what he'd have for dinner. Now I'm going to be picturing that dude eating crumbs all night and giggling to myself, thinking of his friend inviting him over and saying, "Hey man, you want to come over for dinner?" "I don't know. What are you guys having?" "We're having crumbs." "Count me in." "Man, you should stop by later. We're having crumbs." "Really? Is it somebody's birthday?" Then I'll take things that are used for like self-defense, like say a live barking, snapping wolf, and I'll put that on the top part. That way, in case an intruder like Jason ever gets into your house, you just open that cabinet and a wolf flies out like a wolf geyser and wolfs him in the face, and then you will be thankful that you put that where you did. And the whole time that I'm doing this, I'm yelling out to the sink, "Do you like that? Do you like it when I scrubs your sink body?" And it's like, "I loves it when you scrub my sink body. Thank you, cornbread." And if not, there's one easy way to teach them, and that's to drop this sweet elbow from the top rope, baby. You get a couple of them, and you have learned your lesson, son. You'll clean other people's houses just to avoid this elbow. You'll dirty your own house just to clean it. "No, John Elbow, please don't drop on me from the top rope." "I'm going to drop on you from the top rope with my sweet elbow. Here it comes. Woo!" That's a sound of pain right there. A conversational exchange of pain is what you just witnessed. Now you may be asking why we're taking stuff that's already packed in boxes and putting them into tubs, and there's a couple reasons for that. First, don't you ever question me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get aggressive there. Now I told her college is a lot of work and she needs to do a job that she only does occasionally so she doesn't get wrapped up in the job over college. So I suggested that she either become a UFC fighter or a pro wrestler, because at least then you're only working a few days per week at most. Like in UFC, maybe one fight a month or two. And she chose the restaurant instead, but like I told her, you can still fight in those restaurants. You can still do UFC stuff. It's just your opponent's not expecting it and you won't get paid for it.
It's a horse, idiot.
Now, as far as the prescription medication, I never even read the labels on those out of sheer privacy, because you don't know if somebody's like a werewolf and you're reading their werewolf medication, and now you know. And now that you know, they can't let you go. My first instinct was just to spin kick everything here and get it to fly off of the table on its own, because it's just easier. But had I done that, the microwave would have exploded into a million shards. But that saves me from having to find out the hard way that they are a Dracula. I spanked it clean, turned that upside down and spanked its coffee butt. Coffee oil just shot right off of it. I didn't even need soap. I was like, you're a bad coffee. If you're ever cleaning off a super knick-knacked shelf, before you start taking things off of it, take a picture. That way, in case you forget where things go, you can just refer to your phone and get everything back in the right spot. We call that a knick-knack paddywhack. Give a dog your phone. Now, in my 20s, that worked because I was much more limber and much more dope than I am right now. I'm 49 now, so that's just a natural progression from dope to whack. It just happens. But still, even on a mortal realm, I still breakdance like a god. So what I'm saying is, I'm just giving you a warning that don't you ever breakdance me, son. You would be better off wallowing in depression and panic attacks than coming at this, because I'll serve you right in your face. I'll serve you and the horse you rode in on. I'll serve you straight to hell. Instead of using a broom, most professionals like me, I would go in there and just take off my shirt and flex, and all the dirt would just shoot out of the room like a dirt geyser. I'd flex and it would go thunk, and then shoot into the other room. And it really wasn't dirty at all. I mean, it was nothing to write home about as far as filth. I mean, I would not sit down with pen and paper and be like, dear mom, I cleaned a mediocre refrigerator today. Also, you died in 2017. Now, Jason did a really, really good job on the filth. I'm sorry, I can't do it. He's filth. He is exactly one filth, and I'm not standing for it. I'm not going to tolerate it. I folded so much clothing that I almost accidentally folded my own, like while I was wearing it. It was just an automatic response to grab a shirt and to go flip, 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 stack, flip, 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 stack. And I had to be careful, because if I zone out and do that, I'd flip, 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 stack like twice, and I'd look down and I'd just be butt naked. Fortunately, I was the only one in the house, so had that happened, I would have only grossed out myself, which means that Jason now either owes me his firstborn child or the garage. Like, I now own the garage. We'll call it even. They've been hankering for a hunk of fridge, and I think I'm about to serve them a cold steaming. Wait, cold doesn't steam. I'm not good at metaphors. So you guys can feel free to give him crap all you want now, because he was wrong. He was wrong. Filth. I then spin kicked that psychiatrist and backflipped out of the room, and we never spoke again. It came from my floor body. Thank you for asking. And I'm like, shut up, floor. I don't put up with talking floors. And whenever I threw it in the dumpster, I gave it a little extra oomph just so I could see it shatter, because printers are the devil. I would consider printers to almost be a virus. Anyway, I won't ramble about my hatred of printers, though I do have a hatred of printers. They can suck it. If you don't, well, you can suck it. You can suck it straight to hell. I'm so sorry. You shouldn't suck it straight to hell. That was very rude of me. So hopefully now that I'm out of Nashville and back in Illinois, my best friend will now be sick, to remind him that I'm a superior person and that at any moment I can control his health just with my presence. So that's how I roll, son. Call me making my best friend sick Johnny back in Nashville. Yo, man, is that old making his best friend sick Johnny? I don't know. Let's put him by his best friend and see if he pukes. I bet he does. I don't really use tools. I just spin kick it in the side and give it an uppercut, and then it kind of implodes and falls in on itself. And if I do that hard enough, all the wood and the materials that make up the garage kind of splinter out into a pile to where we can shovel those afterwards. The thought of setting it up and lugging it around just makes my butt itch. I don't know what that means. And the first thing you do in a jigsaw puzzle is start separating out the pieces and finding all the edge pieces. And if the puzzle has a special feature, like let's say there's a group of purple flowers, we'll get all the purple pieces into one pile. And if the puzzle has like a whole bunch of nipples in it, because you do really weird puzzles, then we'll find all the nipple pieces and put those together. Now, there's one thing you'll notice if you're paying attention. Pay attention, Chad. Chad. Also, complete side note, but if you're wondering, Drew is about 6'5", which is hilarious watching him work beside Adrian, who's only 2'3". It's embarrassing embarrassing how short she is. She is an embarrassment to the family, and I hereby expel her. I expunge her from the family for her shortness. It's been nice knowing you, Adrian. Now get out. I expunge thee. All your wrenches and screwdrivers and socket sets are in this one down here. And the elbows of your fallen enemies are all in this one. I don't know why he'd collect elbows. But, you know, who am I to question someone who's slain so many enemies? Look, he knows what he's doing. I don't. Because I don't want to do a channel that's just a big infomercial QVC type of bull crap. Bull poop. I think that you're all thinking of him as like an innocent bystander in all this and that he's getting abused somehow. But you need to understand that like just earlier this week, as an example, school is letting out for the summer around here. And in celebration of that, even though Jason's not been in school for several years, he shows up to the elementary schools and seeks out games of dodgeball. And then he goes onto the playground, and just this last week, he popped all the balls that they were using. And then when the kids started crying, he picked up one of the children and threw it at a crowd of other children. So he ended up starting a game of Dodge Child on the playground, and like, you can't defend that. I don't care what you imagine he's like as a person. He's evil. He's an evil filth, and I'm not putting up with it. So like, don't imagine him to be something that he's not. He will Dodge Child your children and not even think twice about it. Oh, hey, wait, more news real quick. So you shut up and listen. I just want a gold plaque, which is 1 million subscribers, so that I can shove that in the faces of all my kids and make them all cry. Because if you can't make your kids cry, I mean, what's the point? Why even have a YouTube channel? What are we actually doing with all the extra stuff? Because there's a massive amount of it. The short answer is that I spin kick it into the sun, because that's how I roll, sun. I just wanted to let you know it's there and available if that's your thing. And if that's not your thing, you can just lick my butt. All the mail, the extra snacks, loaves of bread, boxes of cookies, extra moose, wolves, demons, all the normal stuff that you'd see in a kitchen, we always have it collect right here. It's right by the front door. So if Emily walks in with a child that she found at the grocery store, that's where she's going to set that child. Now back to scrubbing mouse turds. And then the other part of my rule of thumb is don't poop on the floor. I have to remind myself that a lot, because if I don't, I will poop on the floor on purpose while making eye contact with the owner. My office floor hadn't been vacuumed since floors were invented. So while Adrian is doing that, which I told her, you grab this vacuum and you vacuum the floor, and I mean now. You do it now. And she started crying. I'm like, don't cry. You just vacuum the floor. Woman. I don't know why I added the woman part. I think that's just a product of where I grew up. So anyway, after she punched me in the face, she went ahead and did that. That's an escape for me. In my real life, I don't wipe out entire civilizations full of people, but in the game, that's where I can do that. I am a normal human. You're the one who's crazy. I pay for these all out of pocket. Transportation, cleaning supplies, Jason's hardcore addiction to black tar heroin. Boy likes to fly smack airlines, if you know what I mean. I actually don't know what I mean there. All the tubs with red lids that you see here, that's even more clothes. All the ones with yellow lids are filled with the souls of the damned. And one wolf, one live, barking, snapping wolf. I don't judge, I just stack. We've got a dog and 3 cats, and which means that our house is made up of roughly 90% pet fur and 10% house. Also, if you do accidentally fling paint, I found it helps to curse at the roller and blame it for the problem. If you do that loud enough, then it feels shame and it stops doing it. I learned that from everyone's dad.
Check it out, it's a headlight.
But just grab something, anything at all, even if it's like a small piece of nothing, like your mom. Hi-oh! Then it just makes this huge problem where I have to fight the person at the thrift store. Then to stop it, they have to call in the military, and it's just a huge, huge pain. Some like man chili. Man chili. A wedding dress from 1959? Keep that sucker. In fact, put it on. Clean with it. You'll be all fancy. I didn't clean the creature that lives under the bed because I tried to dust it and it was like, leave me alone. Because I told him, you dust my living room, boy. As I say boy a lot. You dust my living room or I'll dust your face. And then he started crying. I'm like, don't cry. Just dust the living room, Chad. And he's like, my name isn't Chad. I don't care what your name isn't. I care that you're Dustin. Your new name is Dustin. Dustin Rooms. I just legally changed your name. And then he just rolled his eyes and just dusted the living room because he knew it was a futile effort to... Anyway, he did all that while I laid in bed and chopped gnomes with a cartoon sword.